And what's up, metalheads? Welcome to the pit. Today we're joined by a couple of guys from a band right here in LA, PDP.
Oh yeah.
I've got Greg Harrison and Dane Markinson. Guys, welcome to the pit.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Hard night of drinking last night, huh? Let's start there.
Just getting blasted.
Oh, damn, was cool. Schechter party got a little crazy.
Yeah, man. Good to see a bunch of musicians coming together.
Yeah.
And you know what I noticed last night? As great as the bands were on stage, there was a lot of good stuff going on just all around the room.
Yeah, it was cool seeing all like good buddies that are doing good, and yeah, it was awesome.
Taking steps forward, steps in the right direction.
Yeah, man. So, LA, you guys are North Hollywood Valley area, that's kind of what you're calling home?
Yeah, pretty much.
There are no LA-based bands that live in North Hollywood, so
Yeah.
where are you guys coming from originally? I'm assuming you're transplants, is that a safe assumption?
He's a local.
Kind of.
He's indigenous.
I'm from a town called Apple Valley. It's like
Okay.
2 hours on the way to Vegas, the shithole town you stop to get gas in. Yeah, and then Rose from like a suburb of LA,
San Gabriel Valley. Yeah, that's our drummer Ro. Aldo is from
Woodland Hills.
Hills.
So they're kind of, we're all kind of SoCal, except for our vocalist Kelly, and then of course Greg. They're both from Ohio.
Yeah, me and Kelly are both from Ohio, like Wilmington, Ohio. I've been here like 9 years or something like that.
Now your vocalist, he came out from Ohio as well?
No, he still lives there.
Oh, okay.
He just flies out for tours.
How does that work?
It's tricky business. Basically, like we don't book like one-off gigs very often, and we just try to book. We'll do like 4 or 5 gigs in a row, and he'll just get his ticket and come out.
There's a lot of industry people who might look at that way of doing business and frown upon it. Has that ever been a hurdle for you guys?
No, I don't think so. These days, it's a lot easier with technology when you're like the way people record these days. Like you got a lot of newer bands that kind of came together because of the internet, whether it be a forum or like they found a YouTube video of someone and they're like, oh, that guy's fucking rad, and I want him in my band. So and they made me live across the country, so they just work that way. And then it seems like they end up moving to a closer area together. I've noticed from some bands that are doing that right now. And then I'm sure Kelly, it'll work fine for us. It's been great so far.
Yeah.
Like we just send back and forth tracks as we're recording, so it's pretty cool.
Let's talk about you coming from Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? Is that your entire childhood in Ohio? And then
Yeah.
One day you just said, fuck it, I'm out.
I grew up on a farm, like farm raised, like baling hay during the summer and shucking corn, just husking. And yeah, I went to small school there, and it was I couldn't wait to get the fuck out. Like it drove me nuts. Like people have such a small mentality. Like I remember going to high school there, and people were like, "Oh, well, you can't make a living playing music. That's not a real fucking job," and all this shit. And I'm like, dude, these are people that are supposed to be like helping you to aspire to achieve your dreams and your goals in life. And like you're a 16-year-old kid, and they're like, yeah, you can't do that. You need to think of something that's a little more level-headed.
In Ohio, you can't. You have to get up and, I mean, you can do this anywhere, but to really be seen, I mean, I relate. I grew up in a small Ohio town as well, I came out here chasing musical dreams and aspirations,
Right.
So yeah, man, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be around like-minded people too. So like a lot of people gravitate towards the bigger cities. Obviously, like we were talking about earlier, like going to New York or like Boston or someplace like that, or LA. Like, I mean, then you're around people that have done the same thing, or other people that maybe grew up here but just are more in the loop as far as musically, just because there's more shit around to fucking check out. There's more of a scene. There's like no scene. Where we grew up, there's not really a scene.
What was your exposure like as a youngster to music, or even more importantly to metal?
My first memory as a child was when I was a baby. Is my mom playing me to sleep Fur Elise by Beethoven. She's a pianist, and so is my stepdad. And just that's my first memory of anything, was just that melody. And it's funny because I didn't know for years what it was, like until I was like maybe 6 or 7. I had asked my mom, like, what is this song? And I like hum it to her. She's like, I used to play you to sleep with that when you were a baby. Like, how do you remember that? You know, it's like, that's my first musical memory. My brother exposed me to like Ozzy and stuff like that. You know, he's 6 years older than me. My brother Jeff, he's a really cool dude. He just kind of exposed me to that, like my cooler older brother, you know, like hanging out. He's got like cool CDs and shit. My buddy Ryan, this dude Ryan Malone, had like all the Metallica CDs, which my parents didn't really want me to have, you know, so I'd like listen to them on the bus, or like actually tapes. It was like Ride Lightning tapes and fucking, I remember I got in trouble for bringing home the Kill 'Em All CD, like when I fucking first got it. I'm kind of like the kind of person, I do one thing and then I'm like, oh, that's badass, let's fucking do that more, and then more badass, and just find the thing that's even more terrifying. I got into all the shred stuff, like Yngwie and Jason Becker and Paul Gilbert, like super fucking gnarly shredder guys. I'm like, well, fuck, that needs to be heavier.
You both are professionally trained as well. You're not just some guys that threw some straps over your shoulders and said, fuck it, we're going to go be in a band, like so many bands do.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Very
Yeah, that's
few
awesome
bands
all the
these
time.
days, you know, that I run across even know how to read music.
Yeah.
But you guys are MI grads, and you're still an instructor, correct?
Yeah.
Talk to me about the MI experience, because I know that that's changed. You know, you had just mentioned Paul Gilbert and things of that nature. One of our partners here, Doc, who does a lot of our integration with our technical stuff, he actually graduated in '84, I believe, in a class with Paul Gilbert, which at that time, MI was a completely different beast.
It's cool. It's like a different it's a different thing, you know. It's a music school, and it's more modernized to the point where back then when the school was first conceived, it was to take players that were already players that had some knowledge and take them and turn them into like super sight readers, session musicians. Like you can go out and play any gig that wasn't metal or rock.
Right.
Like that was frowned upon still at that time until the mid '80s, right, when Paul went. But the initial concept was just to improve the overall musicality of a guitarist, to make them not a guitarist but a musician, which was what GIT's purpose was originally. Now it's kind of like there's very beginner like levels where they can take a person that's virtually a beginner, like totally a beginner, and take them and put them on the path towards, you know, doing that if they want. And there's like independent artist programs, like all these different programs too. So it's not instrument specific anymore. There is the instrument specific part of it. I run across a lot of great players, and I run across a lot of people that want to be professional musicians. But I also have about 50 to 60% that don't know if they want to or not. They're getting out of high school, and their parents are like, "Well, go try it, see what you think." You know. So it's like, if they have a good time, they enjoy it. You know, let's do it. But it is a different thing than what it was originally set out to be. Like when I went there, I thought it was the idea of, you know, the original intent. Like I had read up on it, you know, like I saw, oh, Paul Gilbert went there, Bruce Bouillet, fucking Frank and Bali, you know, like Jaco Pastorius used to come through there. I'm like, well, shit, I need to go hang out with these dudes.
Dan, what were your experiences like as far as
for me? Like I didn't really know a whole lot about the school. I was going to college to become a mechanical engineer, and I had to take an elective class. I took a classical guitar class, and then my instructor was an MI grad. And I was like, dude, that would be sweet if there was a school like that, you know, I could just learn guitar at. And he was just like, there is. And then he told me about it. 3 months later, I was there. He tested me in. I remember walking in, and he was like wearing like a Jack Daniels shirt, and I was wearing like a Pantera shirt. I was like, oh, this is gonna be my teacher? Like, what the hell? This is awesome. He taught me through that, like, was a year and a half as a program, and I just found out about a bunch of cool shredders I didn't even know about, like all kinds of instrumental dudes. Like I didn't even know who Paul Gilbert was. I feel bad saying that because that's like fuck.
And he's one of your biggest influences.
Yeah,
too.
dude, he's awesome. So it was cool because like I looked up to Greg. I mean, he was my teacher, and then to have him ask me to be in the band later on, it was like, oh, that's pretty sweet.
This dude used to come to our shows, like old PDP shows. We had a totally different lineup. He used to come to our shows and just fucking throw down so hard. Like he was.
I would always get the pit going.
Yeah, he would get the pit going so hard.
So.
He threw down so hard one night at this place called Old Town Pub that he fucking ended up puking, like just from pitting, not even from being fucked up or anything. He was just like throwing down so fucking hard. It was hilarious. And then he just like kept on pitting, like right after he just like fucking puked. I like watched him puke, and he just like. Ah!
You guys are here not because you've ever participated in Project Independent. You're here because you're getting ready to head out on a 2-week, 3-week tour.
Yeah.
The Spread the Shred tour.
Fuck yeah.
You're going out with a former Project Independent featured artist, AGHORI.
Yeah, that's gonna be fucking awesome.
You've just recently become acquainted with the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's always fun to send a couple of bands out that don't really know each other. Here, man, let's go have a fucking party with Schecter and let's get all Jaegered out and get all shitty and let's meet these guys and say, hey man, we're gonna spend the next 3 weeks on the road.
It's gonna be super fucking fun.
I think so.
It's gonna be awesome.
You got to meet Zane firsthand. I'm sure it'll be
exactly. That was no surprises.
Let's talk about Zane here in a minute. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to catch up with the guys from PDP. We're going to talk about this Zane character, and then we're going to have a special guest. We're going to have Dustin Keimig from AGHORI. He's going to join us. We're really going to get these guys acquainted, and we're going to set flame to this fuse that's about to explode this tour. It's the 2013 Spread the Shred tour. Yeah, these bands are going to be co-headlining it, and it's going to be pretty fucking crazy. Don't go away. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the pit. Again, we are here with the guys from PDP, Dane and Greg. And joining us, we got Dustin Keimig, vocalist from the band AGHORI. We've got these guys together because they're getting ready to go out on the 2013 Spread the Shred tour. And this is your first time working together, right, guys?
Yeah.
You actually just met over a couple of, I don't know, beers and bong loads last night?
A couple.
Well, here you guys are. So,
Fuck yeah.
what are we going to expect? What kind of mayhem? We got, what, a 3-week tour?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it, man. Someone kick this off.
Well, anyone with a beard like that is okay in my book. Right off the bat.
I like a style.
Yeah. So I can tell right away that we're gonna have a good time.
What have you been doing with AGHORI? You are the 2011 Project Independent featured artists. Let's start there. We'll start there. We'll kind of backtrack a little bit, get you guys up to speed with what the fuck, and then we'll talk about this little match here, and again we'll get into some of the mayhem that you guys are about to spread, because just in the short time that I've spent with you here, I think this is going to be a real fun time, for lack of a better word. So talk to us. Get everybody caught up to speed. What's been going on with AGHORI?
We're wrapping up our album that's gonna come out right before the tour. It's called Transcending the Illusion. 10 tracks, as well as like some new artwork and things of that nature. We're just going like all new, basically, for this tour. Nice. Really strapping it down.
Yeah, as opposed to strapping it on, huh? The Project Independent tour, that kind of got you guys established in a couple of different areas. You've done a couple of smaller things between then and now, yeah?
Just, a couple weekend benders and things of that nature, but we've mostly been planning out this whole trip, and once I heard about the PDP dudes getting on it, I checked all their shit out, and they fucking shred, so I'm just looking forward to watching you guys fucking play,
Yeah, that's gonna be a fucking blast, man.
So
fucking ruthless.
This was an instance where the bands necessarily didn't come together and say, hey man, let's go tour together. Because in this modern day and age, we see a lot of that. Band will get another band on the phone, hey band, fuck, what are you doing for the next 3 weeks? I guess I'm touring with you. Let's go. Let's talk about this tour. What's the Spread the Shred tour all about? Is the first time for each of you? What's going on there?
Well, I guess it's really like these guys are fucking dialed in, right? Like there's a lot of bands and stuff you go on tour with. They're like great people and shit. Like they're good bands. They're really really good players. But these fucking guys got their shit fucking dialed in. And so it's like as soon as we talk to Keith, our fucking booking agent, who's booking everything, it's just like I start researching them. I'm like, oh, this will be a fucking good fit. Like these guys are fucking dialed right the fuck in. It's super funny because I hadn't heard of you guys or anything. And I did the same thing. I was like, oh, let's see what's going on with AGHORI. Like, what's this shit?
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, this shit's pro. All right, I'm down with this.
You both have tours under your belt. You've been on tours where the vibe between bands is a great vibe. I'm sure you've both been on tours where the vibe between bands not so great. You just don't have that kind of camaraderie. How important is that in a touring environment? I know at the end of the show you have the ability to say, okay, cool, see you guys tomorrow, new town, new venue. But how important is that, especially on a tour like this, which is typically a 500 cap, small club venue kind of tour? How important is that camaraderie between touring bands?
Super important.
Yeah.
I'd say just because like it's obviously important on a smaller level too. I mean, even just the band members that are in the same band have to get along, and that's
Yeah,
got to be
totally.
together. So
Yeah, exactly.
then when you get a tour together and you have all these bands that are either in the same band or just with each other on a day-to-day basis, like you become like a band. You're buddies.
Yeah,
Now
exactly.
you're a big band.
It's
So
like
you're
we're
not 5,
we're
you're
partners
10
in
or
what we're
15
doing.
or however many bands. So
Yeah.
it's cool. And it's awesome to just start making new friends. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important because like you want to put on a good show to where everybody there sees that you're having a good time.
Yeah.
So they can have a good time too. And
Yeah.
if we're all hanging out every day and fucking interacting with each other, I think that it'll come out. And
Yeah, it pulls people in more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like they see like all these fucking guys love what they do, and you know they're fucking homies, and like we're gonna be playing back to back every fucking night with these dudes, and it's like you know there's like respect there, and we're gonna help each other with like loading gear and all that bullshit too. You know, it's like it all comes down to like just making this shit happen, and like the fans they pay money to come see the show. It's like we gotta fucking deliver that shit, go fucking balls deep, and fucking hand it right to them.
Greg, you know, we talk a lot about subgenres in metal within Project Independent.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to classify yourself as one type of music, of all the genres and subgenres out there, what would be the one word that best describes PDP?
Extreme metal probably, or just heavy metal. It's like I don't know. Is it
It's so hard.
progressive? Fuck, I don't know what the fuck it is. It's a bunch of odd meter
Yeah,
craziness
'cause
over
we do-
like superimpose odd time signatures over 4/4. But
it's
classically
hard to
arranged.
do.
Fuck, I don't know. Like we do a lot of arranging and shit like that, where he doesn't play the same thing I play ever, and then the bass player does something independent. It's like 4-part writing like Bach, but in like odd meter.
And it's metal too, so you know, so it's like it's so
Progressive?
hard to do.
Fuck, I don't know.
Progressive. I mean,
Or
I would
extreme.
say that's safe to say, just because like
Extreme
a lot of the
Extremely progressive.
Yeah.
Good call.
Extremely progressive, which is exactly what we would expect out of a couple of MI grads.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we're basically doing all this shit. Like it's like we do math when we write music for sure. We don't do it for everything we write, but some shit it's like I get real deep into the harmony and like what the melodic structure is of the music. But me and this guy like we fucking just trip out and like write random fucking shit like. He'll like write some totally random thing. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll write this random thing to that, and then like we listen back to the song, and then our drummer like gets a hold of it, does some fucked up shit, and then it's just like, then it's fucking just out the window. It's like, well, fuck. Now we gotta put vocals on that.
For people who have never heard you, obviously there's a couple of things that are going to stick in their mind from this interview. MI grad,
Right.
progressive music. I think on the surface that may have a tendency to scare the common metalhead away,
Mm-hmm.
because at that point it's like, oh my god, am I going to be able to understand or even comprehend
Yeah.
the angle that this band's coming at me from?
Well, a lot of people don't too. It's a very niche kind of thing because like a lot of people don't get what the fuck we do.
Does that apply to your music, or do you guys understand? Do you guys understand? You know, the need, or the basic fundamental of repetition, things of that nature.
Well, yeah, all that like
Definitely.
songwriting, song structure, and all that shit. Like that's all. That all comes into play. Like most of our songs aren't any longer than 4 minutes, and the longest like 4.5 minutes. The longest one on the last record was like 5 minutes and 15 seconds. So it's we're not Dream Theater by any means. We actually write from like I get my inspiration from the song structures of like Pantera and shit like that. Who's like the Kings are writing like a 3.5 minute song.
Yeah, that hook,
You know,
so you're
that
just
hook
like-
that just fucking sinks your teeth into, and like the strong chorus, and you fucking say what you fucking feel, and the person can fucking relate to. But yeah, but the way we approach these things, like rhythmically, like you might have this time span of music, which would be a bar of music, and somebody would do something normal and like easy there, and we'll do some fucked up rhythm to it, but it's all still the same progression, same tempo. It just sounds kind of fucking retarded. But I think most people can get into it because they see it live, and that's where they're like, oh shit, like it does have a fucking, you know, a defined groove and like a chorus and shit like that. Like we always have choruses.
We try to focus on that, like
The
the
songwriting
pulse, so
aspect.
that it's there. So even if it is fucked up or whatever, try to keep that
Yeah,
pulse there.
the
so
pulse
it's-
is always there. It's always 4/4 for the most part. There's like a couple little spots, but like we did a cover song for our new record. We're not going to tell anybody what it is yet, but it's exactly the same as the original, but totally rearranged. Like we took and rewrote.
It's a pop tune.
Yeah, it's a pop tune actually, and we rewrote the whole thing as like a thrash metal tune with crazy, insane guitar harmony bullshit.
A good pop tune, though. No,
yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. But we rewrote it. And it doesn't even sound like the same song until you hear the lyrics. And then the chorus comes in. You're like, oh shit, that's that tune. Like,
oh,
it's
and a
kinda fucked
special
up.
sweet guest vocalist that we won't say yet.
Yeah.
It's going to be on that tune too.
Yeah, he's fucking super badass.
Dustin, your new material, I wouldn't say has gone commercial. It's very, very much AGHORI and what AGHORI has always done and stood for. Yet you have incorporated big melodic choruses that are going to obviously push the commercial edge of that music. So obviously that's a decision that you guys as a band have chosen to go. PDP, what is your mindset when it comes to the commercialization of metal?
And by commercialization, you mean
Making-
pushing it mainstream so that the listeners can
Well,
actually...
mainstream's ever changing, so that's the thing.
But yes.
Listener friendly or
Listener friendly.
So less extreme. What
Does it need to be?
I
To
don't think
make
it
it
needs-
listener friendly, does it need to be less extreme?
No, I don't think so. I don't think like if they're incorporating more melodic elements, for example, doesn't necessarily mean it's less extreme.
Or
It
commercial.
could be-
What
could
makes
be
it
more-
commercial?
Yeah.
What's the best element
It's
to make?
who advertises it, how much, and what places. That's what makes something commercial. Because,
Right.
for example, you
The
can have
media.
something like the media is exactly what does it. Because, for example, like Pantera, fucking multi-platinum records, and nobody's advertising them because they fucking played a shit ton of live shows that didn't stop playing for years and years, right? And they go out there and fucking people just are like, wow, this band is way fucking sick. Like I remember, I was a teenager, I couldn't hear Pantera on the radio at all. They wouldn't play a fucking song from it. And now it's like they'll play it because it's like this big fucking success, but they fucking worked from the underground and built that thing up, you know. Even with the help of the label, it was still hard to sell because it was extreme. But it turns out, you know, you look fucking 15 years later, it's like those are basically pop rock songs except for like ruthlessly heavy. But it's like the chorus is like 5 minutes alone, I'm broken, you know.
Do you feel like it would be a slap in the face of integrity within the metal genre if the top 40 were to have 10 songs that were metal in the top 40?
Not at all. I mean, Meshuggah's album debuted last year at number 14 on the fucking Billboard.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
It's good news.
Lamb of God was number 1, you know. It's
What do you guys, in your opinions, what is our genre missing? What are we missing that's keeping us from that mainstream? Because what I see, and what I've seen in 10 years of working with 500 roughly bands a year, I see a lot of competition. I don't see a lot of camaraderie, bands
for sure.
helping out their fellow bands, and that's something that has personally bothered me, because the way I see it is, hey, so what if this band isn't what you're doing? If this band has any kind of success, all it's going to do is bring more attention to the metal genre. If a band like AGHORI, who comes along and sings melodic choruses that some metalheads might look at as, you know, that word we use so often, selling out. You know, we have all these little slang terms that we use within our own genre that kind of prohibits our genre and the musicians within our genre from being successful. It's like, wow, you've gotten successful, now fuck you, you're shunned.
I think it's like whatever anybody wants to write and put out, whether that's selling out or not, like that's what that person wants to band wants to purvey. So like if a band wants to change, like everybody like had this big fucking hard on for how hard Metallica fucked up by doing Load and Reload. I think the songs are fucking good. They're great songs. I call it Hard Rockica. I would change the band name, but it's fucking sick as fuck. Like the songs are great, you know, like 2x4. They got like some fucking sick ass tunes. Like Hero of the Day is a wonderfully written song. Like it's an amazing song. Would I play that in PDP? Probably not. But it doesn't mean it's not fucking good. So fuck, you're selling out. Well, you fucking got Ferraris and shit. And I drive my tour van, so. And you know, hopefully someday people like fucking crazy extreme metal and fucking buy it.
You know, I mean, we're all experimenting too. Like even on
we
that
change all the
I mean,
time.
like doing that pop tune, and the guy that's doing it's gonna have some melodic vocals.
Yeah,
on
it's
it
gonna be
too,
a lot of
so
vocals and shit. We're gonna have a lot of singing.
Our new vocalist Kelly is awesome at doing like really fucking
like Iron Maiden shit.
Yeah, he loves Bruce Dickinson.
He's
He
like
can do
way
that shit.
sick of
So
it. It's
he's actually
hilarious,
been doing it on Way to the World. Like
I know.
on Way to the World, when he tracked it, he has more of this. I don't know how to explain. Maybe Devin Townsend-y kind of like he can scream and he has melody behind his scream, but it's like a piercing scream. But now like Kelly does straight up like Dickinson,
Sing, yeah.
just belting it out, dude.
We don't give a fuck. I mean, like if we don't like what we're
Sounds
fucking
good, sounds
playing,
good.
I don't give a shit. Like I don't want to fucking play it then. I don't like what I'm fucking playing. I wouldn't play that shit live and go broke and hungry to fucking go play what shit I didn't care about. So whatever anybody likes, what they do, like that comes right across to the listener. Like, people see that honesty and that sincerity. That's why Pantera blew up. I mean, they were fucking. And like Meshuggah too, like a band like that, they hit 14 on the Billboard with some ridiculously heavy shit. You know, and it's like there's nothing nice about anything on that record. It's all punishing you to death, and it's number 14. Like it's because that band fucking does that shit and they do it well and they believe in it and people hear that. They hear the sincerity in it.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a wave of some more honest bands though, to where that camaraderie will come.
Yeah.
Because like
Maybe
right
that's-
now there's a lot of like bands that are doing that are touring together in the progressive metal scene. I won't name a bunch of them or anything. You can just find them. You'll see that they're touring together and they're doing stuff and they're all buddies. And especially like with the way that the internet is, you can see their interactions and all that stuff. And it's awesome to see that. So I think, you know, I'm going to be optimistic and say that the future looks good for progressive metal.
After a good hard night of drinking and networking at the Schechter party, it looks like you guys are on a pretty good start as well. We'll see where this takes us. You guys got 3 weeks out on the road. I mean, you know, from what I know from the two of you, it seems like you guys have done this quite a few times, and it seems like both you bands have your shit together. So
fucking ruthless.
I think this should be pretty fun. I mean, tell the viewer, what can they expect?
You go for it.
Well, it's like you were saying, like the camaraderie is gonna be there, so that part ain't gonna be missing at the show. We're all gonna have a good fucking time, and it's gonna come through in the show, and everybody else is gonna have a good fucking time too. So
And you know what? I think that's what
Yeah,
metal is
totally.
missing. I
It
think
is.
it's missing that fun element.
that's what I was thinking. When you
Like Sammy
asked that
Hagar,
question.
like Van Hagar and Van Halen, right? That style.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have to necessarily be like fucking butt rock to be that style, but like party, fucking have a good time. You know, it's like everybody's all fucking serious and I'm fucking cool.
Yeah, right.
Like, fuck you, dude.
Exactly.
Let loose,
man.
bro. Like,
Yeah, like let's have a fucking good
Have a good
time.
time.
Drink a fucking beer.
And from what I remember in metal,
Chill
and,
out.
and you know, you're a guy that you're talking to a guy that came through it in the '80s when it was fun. And God, man, I personally miss that.
Yeah.
What do we got to do? What do we got to do to capture that again? Because personally, man, I'm tired of the
Just
sausage
working on
fest.
it.
Just gotta have a
Working
good
on
time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I want to see titties and panties again. The sausage fest ain't working for me.
Yeah, let's do some. What the fuck? No.
What the fuck?
Well,
Exactly.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Now, let's think about like Pantera videos. Like, what the fuck? You do see some tour videos out there now, and it's just like there's
It's fucking-
nothing
it's
like
lame
that.
sauce.
It's just like,
Dead in the
what
water.
the fuck, dude?
Mom knows
We
what's
gotta
up.
start doing that. Hey, dude, the Otis
What's
boys
missing
were
from metal?
fucking crazy.
Dude, Otis was crazy. They fucking broke it off hard. Actually, we toured with these guys last year a couple times. They were fucking hilarious. The band Otis.
Those guys are fun to do videos with.
So we got AGHORI and PDP coming up on the 2013 Spread the Shred tour. Now this is pretty much a West Coast thing. How many dates, guys? Like 16 dates over the course of three weeks, 3
Yeah,
weeks.
something like that.
Mhm.
Something like that.
I'm gonna close with one question. You guys, which one of you guys wants it? Serious question. This is how we're gonna close this interview.
Oh shit! I don't know if I can live up. I don't know if I can live up to that kind of pressure.
In terms of music, your career, define success.
Ooh. More so. Well, you know, I feel I'm pretty successful right now, and I think it's because I'm around a lot of people that I like. And it's not even that I like them. It's just that it's more of a like my bros, my family. Like I'm starting to like be around them more because of like what I'm doing in terms of music. It's kind of cool like that, and I'm not even making any money really. Like I'm just fucking, you know, scrounging to eat on tour, and that's pretty fucking sweet. Still, like I don't know exactly how to describe, I'd say the success of. I don't
You
know.
enjoy what the fuck you do, right?
Yeah, I love it.
That's success.
There you go.
We live well, pay our rent, we fucking tour, play
Yeah.
heavy metal, drink a bunch of fucking beer, party
There
down.
you go.
That's it, man.
Excellent. Very well said, fellas. So there you have it,
Some guys are
man.
pretty good, huh? There you go.
We got PDP, we got AGHORI, we got the 2013 Spread the Shred Tour coming up. End of March, early April. Don't miss it, man. This has been a great visit with both of you bands.
Hey, thanks.
Absolutely, guys.
Goddamn
Thanks for
pleasure.
coming out. Anytime. You're local,
Goddamn.
LA, San Diego in the house. So get ready. These guys are getting ready to bring a little bit of mayhem to your city. Until then, keep your feet on the ground, your horns in the sky.